Good morning and welcome to the October Spotlight webinar for the BNI Foundation and our Business Voices movement. I'm Beth Meisner. My husband, Ivan Meisner, and I are the co-founders of the BNI Foundation. Ivan is not with us today, but I'm going to play his role in the starring episode here of the October webinar and just share briefly with you what Ivan's vision for Business Voices is, and then I'll share my vision and we'll get into introducing our guest for today. When we started the BNI Foundation, our whole focus was on children and education. And this focus was really something that came from BNI members. Our BNI members sat down with us and helped us decide on our mission and our focus of our foundation. And since then, we've grown to the point where in the last 18 years, we've donated over $3 million to educational charities and other charities around the globe. About a year ago, we started this new movement called Business Voices. Ivan has been teaching for a long time about notable networking and how to stand out from others through your networking skills and using your networking tools. And now he's teaching about noble networking, the way business can be noble, the way business owners can work together and learn about the needs in the community, and as it relates to the BNI Foundation, specifically about the needs of your local schools, and then take those needs to others who have the resources, the time, the talent, and the treasure. We call it the T3 equation in the BNI Foundation to help address those needs. So I love his passion for noble networking and finding ways for business to pour into education in a kind of a new mode, a new model for us. And that's what Business Voices means for Ivan. For me, I like to think about whose story can I be in? There are so many kids that really need interaction with adults like you and me. And so for me, Business Voices is all about finding ways to interact with the young people who are starving for healthy adult relationships, who need attention. They need someone to listen to them. I was talking with a BNI member just last week, and she was sharing with me, she started tutoring a young middle school student. Through the process of this tutoring, the child shared with her that she had been being abused in her home, and that prior to starting the tutoring program, she was planning her own suicide. So something very simple for a BNI member to do, to tutor a child 1 hour a week, made such a profound difference in that young lady's life. That BNI member is in someone's story in a profound way. So I want, with our Business Voices vision, to find ways to be in the story of the kids that now they're in school and they're learning and growing, but in the future they're going to be our BNI members and they're going to be our business owners of the future. So that's kind of my vision for Business Voices, and I hope that both Ivan and I, with Noble Networking and Whose Story Will You Be In, will be able to inspire and motivate many, many more business owners, not only in the United States, but all around the world, to join their voices with ours and be part of our movement. This morning, I've asked Gabrielle Baumeier to be on our call. She has an organization. She's actually the president and co-founder of Reason2Race. And her organization does something really unique. And I thought it was worth bringing to all of your attention, because the things that she is doing can help us raise funds for the BNI Foundation and help us pour into the schools that our Business Voices movement is reaching. I loved this picture of you, Gabrielle, here, obviously competing. I don't think you've competed yet, but you're getting ready to compete in an Ironman. I'm so impressed with that, and I can't wait to hear more about your organization, what your organization does, and how it can benefit us in the BNI Foundation. So welcome to our call this morning. I'm really, really glad that you're with us.
Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you for the warm welcome, and thank you for the opportunity in providing this collaboration platform for us business owners to really explore and look to see how we can make a difference in our community. Now, just a quick logistics check. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today and being engaged in this conversation. Reason2Race supports organizations and individuals to forward their charitable missions. We believe everyone wants to make a difference, and speaking to what you said earlier, Beth, there is a difference to make, and we believe that everyone deserves to know how easy that truly can be. It's not hard to make a significant impact, it just takes being willing to try. We serve the following audiences. Number one, we serve athletes. So people who do athletic events, we give them a bit more motivation for training and reaching their finish line goal. Now, you mentioned, Beth, earlier, you showed my Ironman picture. That was actually my finisher picture. I was able to complete the Ironman triathlon in 2010, and I'll share more about my fundraising efforts with that. But what we found is with athletes, giving them an added level of accountability, racing for a cause, it really supports them in doing what it takes to achieve the goals that they've set for themselves. So that's one audience that we serve. And the second one is nonprofits. We show them how to build teams of people to do events in honor of and raise funds for them. Every nonprofit is looking for creative and effective fundraising options, and we provide those for them. Number three, we work with race directors to support them in building and implementing charitable donation programs into their 5Ks, marathons, bike rides, and triathlons. These are races that are just put on by women and men who want to have people experience racing in their community. We support them in being charitable. And then fourth, we support corporations, and we've found that many companies want their staff to be healthy and well. They also want to make a difference in the community. We design programs for them that accomplish both those goals. Now, though we serve 4 audiences and 4 groups, today I'm going to focus on these 2, the nonprofits and the corporations. So here you see a sample of some of the nonprofits with whom we work. They range in size, they have different missions and visions. However, they have something in common. They all are looking for fundraising models that are successful and easy to implement, and that's why they're working with us. I'll call your attention to the top row, the second logo. It's one for the Katy Independent School District Education Foundation. Schools often have foundations, and this model is a great way for them to raise funds. And given the focus of the B&I Foundation is to impact schools, it's something to consider as a way to help. This is a fundraising page. This is how nonprofit volunteers and supporters, in other words, the athletes that are racing for them, either advanced athletes or starter athletes, this page is how they tell their race story and they share their cause. We show nonprofits how to invite and have people set these pages up for them and how to send them out to family and friends. Each person gets a personal web link, just like this one, and they share it via email, Facebook, Twitter, and it's really easy to remember, and they can even customize it if they'd like. And the goal is to send this page to as many people as possible, because when that happens, people hit the sponsor me button and funds are raised for the organization. We at Reason2Race, we collect and send these funds to the organization on a monthly basis. Now I'll talk a little bit about the fundraising results that the organizations have been able to accomplish with us. What we found is when a nonprofit has, let's say, 100 supporters, 100 people who know and love them, if they're invited to do this, to fundraise for them in this way, 10 of them will do it. In other words, 10 of them will become athletes. On average with our program, they'll each raise $700, and that's been consistent over years of doing this. So what that means is when an organization has just 10 people fundraise for them, they can create a $7,000 fundraiser for that nonprofit. And if you multiply that out, if an organization has, let's say, 1,000 supporters, if 10% of them take this on and fundraise for them, it can be an eventual $70,000 fundraiser for that nonprofit. Some of you might be asking what the fee is for the nonprofit for using our service. It's only $500 for the year, which is easily handled by just one person fundraising for them. And there's a small 6.5% online processing fee, and of course there's no fee for offline donations like cash or check. In addition to showing our nonprofit partners how to build fundraising teams, we expose them to matching donation programs available with some of our partner races. Here's one, the On Your Mark Giving Challenge. This program, available in one of our partner race series, matches fundraising up to a certain level. We want our nonprofits to take full advantage of these programs, and they do. This matching donation program has had 258 athletes raise $396,000 for our partner nonprofits, results that they would not have had absent working with us. Now, something to keep in mind is even though we have various partner races, people can do any race anywhere in the world for their favorite cause. The sky truly is the limit. We want people doing the event that they want to do, and when they do it in honor of their favorite cause, it adds a whole new level of satisfaction to their experience. And given that people can do any race anytime, it means that the nonprofit can have fundraising happening for them all year long without the added level or burden of having to produce any of the events. Again, we serve these 4 audiences, and I just shared with you how we support nonprofits in particular. We coach them on how to invite their supporters to race for them, how to turn their supporters into fundraisers who can, on average, raise $700 each. They get to participate in matching donation programs, and their fundraising athletes can do any event they choose anywhere in the world. Next, I'll explain how we work with corporations. Again, they want their people healthy and they want to make a community impact, and we help them do both. I'll share with you a program we did with Cobalt International Energy in Houston. They wanted to create a program for their corporate social responsibility effort. They asked us to help, and they wanted to have it be a team building type of event, and they had certain nonprofits that they wanted to impact, and they wanted it to be a family-friendly event. And together we created the Cobalt Charity Challenge. It resulted in 40 of their employees raising $40,000 for their 4 causes. It was by far their most successful corporate social responsibility initiative to date, and they had more participation than they thought possible and were able to make a huge difference in the community. And this is how it works. We manage the program. We take care of the communications and the logistics involved with the team and their employees. The corporation does not produce the event. We find the local area event for them to participate in. There's no fundraising minimum, so no one's required to do anything. All of them just choose whatever fundraising goal they'd like to choose. And the corporations can choose to include matching donations for fundraising levels met, an excellent way to acknowledge their employee efforts. The company can include the families in the event. People like to use the weekends for their family time, and we support them with that. And lastly, we help the corporations find the nonprofits that align with their vision and goals. In summary, we make it easy to implement because the easier it is, the more participation the company will have. Again, this is who we serve. We get to work with these 4 groups and show them how they can complement each other. And you, all the business owners on this webinar, have a unique position here. You can use your business voice to spread the message of how easy it is to impact the world. I invite you to take the first step to do that. I invite you to go to our website concluding this webinar and watch our short corporate video. See firsthand what Cobalt did to make their impact and start to inquire what you can do as well. I'll turn it back over to you, Beth.
Thank you so much. Wow, I have so many ideas after hearing your presentation, and I'm very inspired. Someone who also has inspired me is our next guest, Mike Macedonio. Mike is the CEO of the Referral Institute, and he's a BNI Executive Director. And the reason Mike inspires me is because he uses his training and his racing to raise money for the charity of his choice. And I asked Mike to come on and talk a little bit about what he does and how he does it and what the success for him has been. So welcome to our call, Mike. I'm really honored to have you on with us today. I know Mike is here. There you
Hi,
are.
Beth.
Hi, welcome. Tell us what you've done and how you've done it and how it's worked out.
Yeah, thank you, Beth. And Gabrielle, first I'd like to say what an impressive model you have there. I'm going to be happy to share what I've done, but boy, I'll tell you, you guys seem to have the magic formula.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, Mike.
yeah, I kind of fell into some opportunities to raise some money, but nowhere near the success you've had or the sophistication of a proven model. So for those that are listening to my story, again, it's very simple, but I would highly recommend if you're going to do something like this, I would absolutely take the approach that Gabrielle's showing and use that level of sophistication and service. So, um, Beth, if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of back up to how I kind of somewhat accidentally fell into this opportunity.
Go right ahead.
I've always enjoyed sports. I've always enjoyed endurance sports, and I've also, for most of my adult life, been playing. Cycling continued to be part of it until I got into my 50s. And for some odd reason, my knee acted up, not from any specific new injury. And I thought cycling might have been out of my lifestyle. And it took several months to come back. And when it did, and I kind of looked and said, well, it's kind of might be the beginning of the end. And so I think I'm going to go all in. And I took my recreational riding, which I've done my whole life, and decided I'm going to race, and I'm going to bring it to the highest level I can. And I started training, and I started racing, and I got more and more inspired to the point where I made a commitment that I was going to go for the bucket list. And for those people in the mountain biking community, the bucket list of all mountain bike races is Leadville. And Leadville, Colorado hosts a race which involves 104 miles of mountain biking in the dirt, over 12,000 feet of climbing in the course of that race. And to add insult to injury, they conduct the race at a very high altitude. You start at over 10,000 feet, you get altitudes over 12,000 feet. So they just compassionately remove 30 to 40% of the oxygen up there. And that was my bucket list. And when I committed to that, when I started getting involved in that, I started to put together a connection of the dots of playing big. This was my playing big. A lot of athletes that would enter this race would think some others may not because they're at different levels. But this was a race that I was committing to that involved a very big commitment. This race has tens of thousands of people that like to make it part of their bucket list, but they only have 1,500 that actually qualify or get into the race each year. And one of the many lessons that I was learning along the way is this process of playing big is pretty similar, or actually identical, to what happens when you're playing big in business and playing big in life. And I started to share my stories about lessons I've learned about playing big, such as creating a playing big mindset, about sticking your stake in the ground. When I committed to Leadville, I did not have a ticket to get in. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know how I was going to get a ticket to get in. Okay, but I stuck my stake in the ground. I told people about my inspirational goal. I booked my flight. I booked a home because accommodations are pretty scarce around Leadville during the race. I hired a coach and I started the training. Didn't even know how I was going to get in. And one of the principles that I also found in this playing big mindset is people that are playing big, and when you're in that space, it involves other people. It involves people other than just your stakeholders, whether it's your business, your life, or in this case, my racing community. And those people that I was talking about were people that I wanted to benefit from this. And in this case, it was something that I felt passionate about, is feeding the hungry. And so I saw this as a vehicle of, could I get other people to get behind me and help support this? Now, again, unlike Gabrielle, who's got a very robust model for doing this, I had one platform, and my platform was the stage. And I would put on presentations, and I would put on workshops about playing big and what it takes to do that, with a lot of references to my cycling experience. And then I would simply let them know that I would like to also raise money to feed the hungry. And if they would support me in any way they could, that I would also match that donation. Right? And so again, it was one platform. It was the stage. Certainly, if I had a more robust plan like Gabrielle, it could have had a better result. But it still resulted in several $1,000s getting donated to the food bank. One of the things along that way in putting a presentation together, I would put on a workshop. And the workshop was limited to 100 people. The first 100 people that registered, they paid a small fee, a $10 fee to attend, that they would get refunded to them if they showed up and donated food. And I did this twice, and on both occasions, 100% of the people not only brought food, but they donated their registration fee rather than take it back when they attended. So that became an additional form of raising money for the food bank. So that was my journey to approaching Leadville. I did successfully complete that race in 2013, and went back again last month and did it for the second time, and that was in August. So I take a lot of pride in seeing that task through, but just as much so having the opportunity to raise money to feed the hungry. On the fundraising side, I will tell you that probably one of the most emotional times for me is when I met with the food bank and I made the donation of food and money, and to have the gentleman there tell me what that really means in the food bank. It's not just money that shows up, and the amount of families and the number of meals that are contributed to because of the way they operate, because of the way they have purchasing power within large wholesalers, that a dollar doesn't get a dollar's worth of food. In actuality, a dollar gets $10 worth of food for these families. And the amount of meals and families they were sharing, this small contribution made, just made me proud.
Well, we are proud of you, Mike, for the way you have taken this passion of yours and used it to serve. Very impressed with that. So thank you. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for doing what you've done. I'm very, very proud of you. And look at that picture of you crossing the finish line, giving the glory to God for that. And I'm proud of you for that too. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, let's go to our open mic time now. If I can get the controller to work for me. There we are. I'm going to take everybody off mute. So if you'd like to mute yourself once I take you off mute, if you've got background noise, please do that, because I won't be able to know who it is that is being noisy or has a noisy background. We do have a question from Sherry for you, Gabrielle, and she's asking if she can join any fundraiser and raise money for a cause, even if she's not a member of a particular fundraising group. So I am going to, let's see, Sherry, I want to unmute you. So if you want to add anything more to your question, you can do that. Here we go. Hi, Sherry. And Gabrielle, we need to take you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I might have a noisy background.
Okay. I will mute you again, and then I will let Gabrielle answer your question about joining any fundraiser and raising money for a cause, even if you're not a member of a particular fundraising group. What about that?
Sure. I'll be glad to answer that. Thanks for the question, Sherry. I love that question. We get that one a lot. So we designed the model to be really open for people to fundraise for any cause that they'd like. So we invite them to choose the one that really does speak to their heart. So even if even if you've never been associated with that cause, but it's just one that you want to have motivate you to do something great, we say go for it. And if that cause is not listed on our partner nonprofit list, we work with you to have them included. And so you can pick the event that you want to do. And incidentally, it doesn't even have to be an athletic event if you don't want it to be. It can be something else too. It just is something that you want to do as a personal accomplishment and have that cause be your motivator for doing that. And so it can really be for any charity you'd like anywhere in the United States, any 501c3 based organization. Does that answer your question?
That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll let Sherry type back in if she's got any follow-up question. Angelica is loading the deck here with a couple of good questions. I know Angelica is one of your #1 fans, Gabrielle. She's been messaging me during the call with woohoos and how awesome you are. So Angelica wants to know, what year and what cause did you do your Ironman for, and can dogs sign up to race?
Oh, that's great. So I did the Ironman triathlon in 2010, and it was a bucket list item for sure. And I had wanted to do that event for about 8 years, but I didn't tell anybody for about 5, because I knew once I told people that I wanted to do the Ironman event, they would start asking me when I was going to do that. And so when I started to do triathlon in about 2007, I started with a smaller race and then worked myself up, and eventually said I'm going to do Ironman, and did that for a cause called Cherish Our Children International. They help underprivileged children both in Houston and internationally. And so I knew that doing it for a cause was really going to be what had me complete my bucket list item. And I took my own advice, which was I set up a fundraising page to hold myself accountable, and I put $1,000 as my fundraising goal. And I sent it out really late at night, kind of hoping nobody would see it, because then I would be hooked. And my very first donation was $1,000, and the gentleman who donated said I needed to set my sights higher. And long story short, I ended up finishing the Ironman triathlon in Tempe, Arizona in 2010, and I raised $26,000 for that cause.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and I often ask myself who got the better end of that deal, because I got my Ironman medal, which is something I really wanted to do, but I was able to really serve a lot of children and to include a lot of people in my journey. There were so many people who were alongside me in that, and they got to experience the fun and excitement of that as well. So it was really a special occasion, and that's when we knew that Reason2Race would work.
Yeah. So I have a follow-up question regarding that, and it is, why do you do what you do?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. It goes back to when I was 15 years old, Beth. I was a chubby little high schooler, and I looked out at the track team and I said, "Wow, they're really impressive, and I really wish I could do something like what they're doing." And I said to myself, one day I'll do a marathon, and I tried several times in my 20s to do it. And then when I did it for a cause, I crossed the finish line. And it was such a great experience for me that I decided that I want everybody to be able to have that, because we all have dreams and we all have goals. And once we make ourselves accountable to something bigger, then there's a whole different motivation and element to it. And so when I got to finish my marathon and then went on to do other things, I said, wow, this accountability thing really works, and doing it for a bigger cause really is something, there's something here. And one thing led to another, and here we are.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I will have to tell you, when you were first introduced to me, I thought, wow, this is a really great way that our BNI members who already race can do things that help them support the work of our Business Voices movement and our BNI Foundation. But then I'm realizing as well, this would be a great referral to a school that's looking to raise money, or any other educational organization like Boys and Girls Clubs. And I could envision BNI members, actually, the chapter perhaps sponsoring the school to foot the bill of the $500 to do the annual membership, and then have the organization be able to work with you to raise those thousands of dollars and tens of thousands of dollars or more for the organization. So I think there are a number of ways that we can work together. And you're doing this work throughout the entire United States. Do you do this in any other countries as well?
Now, at present time, we only work with United States 501c3 based organizations, but we are looking to expand because people are asking.
Yeah. Okay. So a follow-up question then comes from one of the attendees. What's a great email address to connect with you if we have a referral for you, or we want to get more information about how to set up a page for us?
Sure. You can email me directly at Gabrielle at reason2race.com. And that's, I think, Gabrielle, yeah, I was going to try and do it in the panel. GABRIELLE.
We also have posted it in our BNI
Perfect.
page.
Perfect. Yeah, and it's Reason2Race. It's always the number 2 race.com.
Great, great, great. Well, and it's just more than the people on this call. We are going to have this recording posted on YouTube, so other people will listen to the call, the webinar, and will get the opportunity to contact you as well. Have you set things up for BNI groups or BNI chapters yet?
No, not yet. I was really hoping to have this be our launching point, because I really do believe that even going back to the initial discussion that we had, each of the chapters really can make miracles happen in this arena, and we want to make it as easy as possible for them. In fact, one of my chapter members stood up last week and said, "Why aren't we doing something for a cause?" And I said, "That's a good question. Let's put something together." And so it's just a matter of a chapter saying, all right, we want to make a difference with this cause or that cause, and then get their walking or running shoes on and go out and do a team building effort that's going to make a difference in the community. And it really does make a difference for the person who's doing it for the cause.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously we would love for the chapters to do this for the cause of business voices, knowing 100% of what is donated to the BNI Foundation is going back out to schools. Let me just talk briefly about our grant-making program so that you know, if you raise money through Reason2Race for the BNI Foundation, that all of the money that is donated to the foundation as a result of your efforts will be going back out to schools. We do not have any admin expenses that are deducted out of our members' donations. Ivan and I have made a commitment from the very beginning to make a donation each year that covers the fund administration fees that we have. We are a 501c3 fund, a donor-advised fund within the California Community Foundation. So the California Community Foundation are managing the BNI Foundation funds, but we are directing and advising where those donations go as we have grants come in to us. What we do is we look for chapters and regions of BNI that are adopting schools, that are sponsoring projects with JA, that are supporting efforts through the Boys and Girls Clubs. And some of the work that the chapters are doing, the projects the chapters are involved with, would benefit greatly from a cash gift. And so the chapters and members and the directors are able to refer those organizations to the BNI Foundation for a Giver's Gain grant, and our grants are $1,000 a piece. We review them on a monthly basis. We have a review board that actually is going to be meeting on Monday for the October round of grant requests, and we are donating that money back out to the charities that are part of our Business Voices movement. So you know beyond a shadow of a doubt when you raise money for us that it is going to be getting in the hands of teachers and educational organizations that have the greatest needs right there in your own communities. So I wanted to let everybody know that. Gabrielle, do you have any concluding remarks, or Michael, would you like to make any concluding remarks, and then I will go into our conclusion. I hear crickets.
Gabrielle, would you like to go?
Sure. I'd like to say a couple words. First and foremost, just thank you, Beth and Ivan. I know he's listening to the video. Just really thank you for providing this platform for us, and thank you for reaching out and having others see that there is a difference that they can make, and giving us the opportunity to collaborate about that. It really is inspiring that you are creating this for us. So thank you for that, and thank you for everyone on the call and for everyone listening, because you're taking time out of your schedules to see how you can make an impact with your business voice. Thank you.
And Beth, I'd like to just point out the obvious. If chapter members were to get involved and work for Gabrielle and do it for a cause, obviously there's a benefit to Business Voices to have this done for them, but there is also one that'll come back. This is a relationship building activity, and the new relationships and the deeper relationships that'll form from getting involved in an activity like this, a noble cause like this, will absolutely shock you. I think about some of the people that supported me, and we have a very unique relationship today. And it is because we were working together at something, and in this case, they were supporting me, my efforts to race, but also helping support me with some fundraising. And so I look at this opportunity working with Gabrielle for a chapter as a great relationship building activity.
Absolutely, and it gives the chapters the opportunity to meet other people that they could invite into their chapter as visitors too, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Gabrielle, what chapter of BNI are you a member of? I want to really stress that you are a BNI member, and you are giving back to our organization as a BNI member.
I'm in the Houston West region, and I'm in the Bayou City Business Builders chapter.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so if anybody wants to contact you, we have put your email address up on our BNI Foundation Facebook page. So go there, find out how to connect with Gabrielle there, and then get involved. Do something, do anything. I hope to have a national BNI race that we can organize. A lot of BNI directors, because I know we have a lot of people that do race and that enjoy that. So that would be really great to organize. In the meantime, I want to let you all know about our upcoming Spotlight calls. We're doing a little new format in the fall. We started these Spotlight webinars a year ago. We took the summer off because just like every school, we have a summer break as well. And we're back up now and doing our fall webinar series. And we are going to bring on an organization and a guest. So in most cases, the guest will be either a BNI member or a BNI director. In the case of our next call, which will be October 9th, the organization is JA. The guest is BNI CFO's son. Michael Walchonsky is our CFO for BNI. Ryan Walchonsky is his son, and he was part of the company program, went all the way to nationals with their student-led program. And so we want to highlight what Ryan did and how JA is helping our kids in America and across the world, actually, because they are international. They are our strategic alliance partner, and they're helping these kids get ready to go into business and become entrepreneurs. So they deserve our help, and I wanted to highlight them. In November, we'll be highlighting the Feed the Need organization and a former BNI member who got so excited about the work of Feed the Need that he actually has gone full-time into his charitable work, and his seat at the BNI chapter was taken by someone else. But the work the chapter has been doing in tandem with Feed the Need and getting free farmers markets to inner cities, to those inner urban areas where there are food deserts and the families are buying their groceries at the 7-Eleven. And they're bringing these farmers markets into these communities to feed these kids well, which helps them do better in school. So they're going to be our focus in November. Instead of the first Friday for November, we've got to move it to the second Friday due to the international conference for BNI that will be taking our attention on the first Friday. So as usual, our Spotlight webinars are at 12 p.m. Central, live from Austin, Texas, and we need your help. We need you to let your chapter members know about these calls. Forward all of the links. When you see our posts on Facebook, share them with your page as well so we can get a nice, robust group of attendees to the webinar and come on and enjoy that content. So again, thank you for being here.